Hello guys, here is the internet historian Miguel Montoya. No, I'm not. With another video, this time to update everyone on the current state of SF2000, both in terms of official firmware and custom firmware. In terms of official firmware, Datafrog is dead. I'm joking. Datafrog launched the console in early 2023 with emulators for 7 consoles and secretly running Master System. Unfortunately, performance was mediocre on Game Boy Advance and Super Nintendo. After some updates, the platforms were all playable, and SF2000 has been in version 1.7.1 for a few months. However, not even the BIOS bug that Binister discovered was fixed by Datafrog. It goes without saying, if indeed Datafrog is the creator, and not just another seller. For the GBA to be able to read the correct BIOS, it is necessary to create a folder with this path: mount SDA1 BIOS GBA BIOS bin, and put this inside the folder GBA and inside the folder of the ROMs. For custom firmware, it's another story, and there is a group dedicated to this effect on Discord, free and open source. As a bonus, you guys can be assured that GB300 will be also blessed by the magic of custom firmware. The SF2000 group planned to focus on modifying the original firmware to be able to run the RetroArch cores by hijacking the GBA emulator to run the other consoles. The developers called this system multi-core. Bannister, Kobil, and Madcock then began this work. Meanwhile, Bannister discovered the GBA BIOS bug. Kobil applied the Dynarec memory technique, whatever that is, that made GBA good. Cores were compiled, and that allowed to increase the performance of existing consoles and also made it possible to use new consoles. With multi-core, we also have consoles, original aspect ratios, new teams, and resources were created. The boys are awesome, and the console is surpassing its own limitations. It is now a pleasure to play on the SF2000. On terms of ergonomics and performance, Omokasa solved the TV out problem for multicore. And another revolutionary thing was the tool developed by Taizo, the Frog tool, that was modified by Eric Goldstein and then became Tadpole, managing to install firmware, multicore, games, patches, and fix. GeoNux also increased the possibilities of Tadpole to have more functions. Tadpole is a multi-purpose Windows tool. You have to insert your card into your computer to access these modifications. YouTubers were essential in letting people know the work on multicore, and started building their own images. The Purple Neo from Vivir Sin Dormir, for our Spanish friends, and the Ultracore from Tudo Game Retro Games were and are very important for those who have difficulty using these systems, including myself. But all these systems and images are forks or builds of multi-core. I feel super smart saying these things, but I am a countryman, and nothing more than a pile of secrets. I also made a build. Its name is a bit anticlimactic. It's called Multicore X. It is on version 0.8. Since the SNES inputs were messed up and I could not fix them, I use the default emulator. It is good enough, but it is still a good build. The advantage of my image is you just need to flash it on a SD card. As soon as possible, I will share with you guys. My image is nothing more than settings, mappings, stub files, shortcuts, and so on. Flash it on a card and start playing. Now, in a simple way and quickly, I will explain what I did in my image. I hope you guys don't fall asleep halfway through. I used Tadpole and emptied all ROMs from the official version 1.7.1. I applied Tadpole bootloader fix. I downloaded materials and pasted them all on the card. I fixed the BIOS using Binister fix. I applied Kobil's Dynarec. I pasted the multicore.opt file from the original multicore to have the original aspect ratios. I applied Omokasa TV out. I added my own game ROM hacks for certain platforms and updated the default lists for Game Boy Color and Mega Drive, because their performance already perfect. To update the original game lists and create multi-core shortcuts, you have to use the tadpole. I applied the silent sounds created by Detain. This build is good for multiplayer and for playing on TV. Game Boy will be in 8x7, Nintendo Entertainment System in 4x3, Mako 8 in 1x1, and the vertical arcades in 9x16. I want to thank people at Discord, the Retro Handhelds group, and also Tudo and Sparda. Without all these people, I would have no way to learn how to do these things. I also want to remind you that this video is nothing more than a scientific experiment and has educational purposes only. Now I will demonstrate a short gameplay for arcade and GBA with Tiny Rec so you can see the performance. As you saw, Shino Hondo Akomeju Dracula X is gold, despite my skill issue. If you want me to deconstruct any of the concepts, leave them in the comments, especially because today wasn't a tutorial. If you need one, just say, it's a pleasure to help, even though I prefer money and drugs. But don't we all?
Super strong, and once it's on, it holds on tight.